I discovered my husband had been planning our divorce for months while I was breastfeeding our newborn, and when I found his secret conversations, I realized he'd been emotionally cheating the entire time I was pregnant, destroying everything I thought we had built together. For 8 years, we built what I thought was an unbreakable bond, the kind of love story that makes other couples jealous, and when we got married 5 years ago, I truly believed we were soulmates destined to grow old together, sharing dreams, building memories, creating the life we'd always imagined. Our house was filled with laughter, weekend morning coffee in bed, spontaneous date nights, and the kind of intimacy that made me feel completely safe and cherished, like I'd found my person in this chaotic world. We talked about having children for years, planning nursery colors, debating baby names, dreaming about family vacations, and when I finally got pregnant, I thought we were stepping into the most beautiful chapter of our lives, ready to become the family we'd always wanted. He seemed excited during those early months, rubbing my belly, talking to our unborn daughter, picking out tiny clothes that made us both tear up with joy, acting like the devoted father-to-be I'd always imagined he'd become. But something shifted around my second trimester, something I couldn't quite put my finger on, though now I realize the signs were screaming at me, begging me to pay attention to what was happening right in front of my eyes. He started working late more often, claiming new projects and deadlines, his phone became permanently face down on every surface, and those sweet good morning kisses turned into distracted pecks before he rushed out the door, avoiding any real connection or intimacy. The man who used to massage my swollen feet suddenly found excuses to stay busy, cleaning the garage, organizing closets, anything to avoid sitting with me and our growing baby, like my pregnancy had become something to escape from rather than celebrate. During my third trimester, when I needed him most, he became a stranger living in our house, present but emotionally vacant, and I kept telling myself it was just stress about becoming a father, making excuses for behavior that should have terrified me. 3 months after our daughter was born, while I was surviving on 2 hours of sleep and struggling with postpartum anxiety, he dropped the divorce bomb like it was a casual dinner suggestion, shattering my world in an instant. "I've hit a wall," he said, standing in our kitchen while I held our crying baby. "Our personalities are incompatible, and I've been unhappy for years," words that felt like daggers piercing through every dream we'd shared. The words hit me like ice water, and I felt my knees buckle as I realized he'd been planning this escape route while I was literally growing his child inside my body, carrying his daughter while he plotted his freedom. That night, after he went to bed early claiming exhaustion, I grabbed his phone and found months of conversations with someone named Ashley from his gym, messages that started innocent but escalated into emotional affair territory right around the time I was showing, right when I needed his support most. When I confronted him the next morning, showing him the screenshots I'd taken, he didn't deny the emotional cheating but claimed it wasn't physical and that Ashley was just someone who understood him, as if that somehow made the betrayal less devastating. He broke down crying, saying he felt trapped, overwhelmed by responsibility, terrified of losing his freedom, and that continuing our marriage felt physically unbearable, choosing his own comfort over his wife and newborn daughter. The man I'd loved for 8 years, the father of my 3-month-old daughter, was choosing his gym buddy over his family, and his tears felt more like self-pity than genuine remorse, more about his own guilt than the pain he'd caused us. I gave him an ultimatum that day, therapy or divorce papers, but he refused counseling, claiming he was too far gone to fix anything, unwilling to fight for what we'd built together over nearly a decade. Within a week, he'd moved into his brother's spare room, leaving me alone with our newborn, the mortgage, and the devastating realization that I'd been married to a coward who'd rather abandon his family than fight for what we'd built together, choosing the easy way out over the hard work of love. 6 months later, he sees our daughter every other weekend, sends his required child support payments, and from what I hear through mutual friends, he's openly dating Ashley now, living the carefree life he apparently always wanted. Our daughter will grow up knowing her father chose his own comfort over her bedtime stories, and while that breaks my heart, I've learned that some people aren't built for the kind of love that requires sacrifice, the kind that puts family first. I'm raising an incredible little girl with my parents' help, rebuilding my life one day at a time, and though the betrayal still stings, I know we're both better off without someone who saw fatherhood as a prison sentence rather than a privilege, someone who couldn't handle the beautiful responsibility of being our family. Here are some comments from the community and OP's responses. Comment 1, is he depressed? This sounds not unlike how I feel when I'm in a depressive episode. Everything feels like too much. I'd recommend that he talk to a good therapist before making any permanent life decision. OP's response, I think he might be but he refuses therapy. Comment 2, No, you do not owe it to her to try. You owe it to her to be true to yourself and not tolerate neglect or abuse. Staying only proves that women should be doormats, no matter what. That is not the lesso. OP's response, you're absolutely right. It's just so hard because she's so young and he's giving up so quickly. But I know deep inside me that I deserve better.